What's up, everybody? It's Mighty Joe W here, and I woke up to some good news today as a lifelong Resident Evil fan that they will be making a Resident Evil HD remake remaster. So what does all of that mean? Actually, I want to go to Resident Evil's YouTube page where they put this video and read to you the description so you can see exactly what that's going to be. So basically, the first Resident Evil had a remake on the GameCube. They're going to be remastering that in HD for the newer consoles. So this is the information from the video that was just posted. Using the latest resolution enhancement and 3D model technology, game resolutions and textures have been significantly upgraded, including 1080p support on next-gen consoles, resulting in characters and backgrounds coming to life in greater detail than ever seen before in Resident Evil. Not only will the graphics impress, but the tense sound effects have been fully remastered with 5.1 surround sound for a greater gaming atmosphere. Players are now able to choose not only between experiencing the terror at the classic 4:3 ratio or a stunning 16:9 widescreen mode, but also the type of control scheme they play with. The classic control scheme remains for fans of the original playstyle, or there's an alternative scheme where the character moves directly in the direction of the analog stick, utilizing standards of the current generation of gaming. Both the control scheme and the display options can be toggled between at any time during gameplay. So as a Resident Evil fan, that's very, very good news because Resident Evil, especially the old ones, are some great classic games, but the graphics, the gameplay, the controls are all dated. So if anybody were to go back and play them now, it would just feel like an old clunky game. So this is really good because I think this is what the industry needs, where survival horror really started, just getting an HD makeover. Which leads me to my next point, my plea, my request to Capcom. Please remake Resident Evil 2. Fans of Resident Evil have been waiting for years, nearly a decade, for a HD remake of Resident Evil 2, and this needs to happen. It was my favorite game coming up. In my personal opinion, it's the best Resident Evil to date. I feel like it had the best story. I feel like it had the best characters and character development. And let me dive into that a little bit. For all of you that do know Resident Evil, I feel like on Resident Evil 2, the characters were the most believable. This is back when Leon was still a rookie cop, and he was relatable. He was young, he was scared, he had emotions. The past games, Leon and Chris have been so stiff and dry and dull and honestly boring and monotone and have no personality or sense of humor. I don't really like that. I like a character you can actually relate to, so I feel like his chemistry with Claire was really good in this game. That was the only game that had a little kid that you had in the mix that you had to take care of and watch, and that was Sherry. And then the way that she was related to William Birkin, I'm not going to go into too many details, but that was a cool dynamic to the game as well. Just a great story, great atmosphere. Everything was good in Resident Evil 2, and fans are still begging for it. There's actually a petition that's been going around for years. I signed a petition today because I want them to remake Resident Evil 2. So there will be a graphical improvement. There will be improvement with the controls. And then that leads me to the voice acting. Resident Evil did used to get clowned because the voice acting was subpar and the lines were a bit cheesy. So if they did remake Resident Evil 2, I think they probably would want to invest in some new voice acting that'll bring a little bit more to the experience in in current gaming. The only thing that I wouldn't really want to see in the new Resident Evil 2 is the old saving system that they used to use where there were no continues. If you died, it was over. The only way to save is if you had an ink ribbon and you had to find a typewriter, which was not always easy to do. That made the game incredibly difficult, and that added to the survival horror feeling of the game. However, it was very difficult, and I don't know how well that would do in today's day and age, having no continues. Maybe that could be a mode that they could toggle on and off. So I'm thinking that the likelihood of a Resident Evil 2 full-blown HD remake will probably be based on the sales of this Resident Evil, the first Resident Evil remake HD remaster. So hopefully it does well, and hopefully the fans' voices will be loud enough for Capcom to realize we really need to revisit Resident Evil 2, because they revisited it in the Dark Side Chronicles on the Wii, but that was a rail shooter. That wasn't, it's not the same. It's not the same. So Get the petition going, make your voices loud, be heard loud and clear. And I know that Capcom, there's been rumors about them working on Resident Evil 7 and things they want to do with Part 7. So I don't know how feasible this will be to work on a full-blown remake of Resident Evil 2, but just know that it's something that's been desired for a really long time, and I think that'll get them back on the right tracks with this series. So I would love to know your thoughts about all of this. Is there a different Resident Evil that you would rather see get a HD remake? You still got Resident Evil 0. You still got Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, which was another one of my favorites. You still got Code Veronica out there. So there's still some other options. So let me know your thoughts below, what you think about all of this. Thanks for watching the video, and I'm out. Peace out.